Atlantiss Karazhan, the newest fresh Burning Crusade private server, just had a massive launch yesterday, with over 6,000 people playing. Now, is it the next best Burning Crusade private server? Well, it's too early to say, but I do have thoughts about the recent successful launch they had, and how promising it looks. If you want to know how to play on private servers, which are absolutely free to play, check out my video. I'll leave the link in the description, and leave a comment down below if you need help, because I'd be happy to help you guys. I'll be talking about three main things: the launch state, or how smooth it was, population, and scripting. Before we get into it, here's some information about the server. First, it's a Burning Crusade server, patch 2.0.3, and will be releasing content in phases. The schedule can be found on their website, which I'll link down in the description. There'll also be an opening of the Dark Portal event, which they're planning to do. Next, it will eventually progress to Wrath of the Lich King, after all the Burning Crusade content is released, and we'll be able to play the Scourge Invasion event. The XP rates are 2 times from level 1 to 58 and 1 times from level 58 to 70, but you can change between 2 times and 1 times at any time. Now, a few things to note are a few faction balancing methods in place. First is faction queue. If the faction balance goes beyond 45 to 55, members of the other faction have to wait until it balances. For example, if Alliance is 44% and Horde is 56%, Horde players have to wait until it's more balanced. Next is free faction transfers, meaning if you don't want to wait in faction queues or just want to play in the different faction, you can transfer to the lesser populated faction for free. Another thing is that Alliance gets Seal of Blood and Horde gets Seal of Vengeance. And the final faction balancing method in place is that there are free respecs for the smaller faction, which is currently the Alliance. Now let's get into my thoughts on the server's launch.
You are not prepared!
As expected from a massive launch that had 5,000 to 6,000 players log in and create characters at once, there was massive lag. However, it only lasted for the first 10 minutes or so. After that, everything was smooth, and even with the massive numbers, I only encountered minor lag spikes here and there. In fact, I would go as far to say that it's a whole lot smoother than most private servers out there that launched years ago. Overall, the experience was really smooth, and I had no DCs, and there was, if I recall correctly, only one server restart, which happened around 2 hours after launch, which only made the server even smoother. Now, despite the high competition when killing mobs, it wasn't entirely impossible. First, because players just group up and make it easier and funner for each other, but also because of the dynamic respawn. I had little to no trouble making it out of Northshire Abbey to Goldshire in less than an hour. Basically, if there's a lot of people, mobs spawn faster, but if there's less people, it's around the normal rate. Even in zones like Westfall, it was still really good. I would say that the launch state of Karazhan was great. Now, the population, as I first said, was massive. When the server first launched, there was about 5,300 players. I then checked the numbers about an hour later, and it had risen to above 6,000 players. Of course, at launch, numbers are supposed to be big. So I went to check the numbers again the next morning to see the population at non-peak hours. There was still 3,000 players on, and as peak hours are approaching now, the population have gone up to about 5,000 players again as of making this video. You'll find no shortage of players to form groups for quests or dungeons, and finding a guild is also really easy. All in all, I would say that the population of Karazhan is really good. The final thing is scripting. Scripting in the server seems to be really good for now. I did most of the quests in Elwyn Forest and Westfall and didn't encounter a single bug. Plus, all the quest loot is shared throughout the party, so it makes leveling with groups and friends much more enjoyable. I also ran dead mines, and again, I didn't encounter any bugs so far. It seems for the early level content, they've got the scripting done pretty well. Of course, it remains to be seen in the next few weeks as we progress to higher levels of content and raids, but so far, both quests and dungeons are working perfectly, and it's definitely better than most servers out there. Overall, Karazhan looks to be a really promising Burning Crusade server. Judging from the very successful launch, it seems that Karazhan could be the next best Burning Crusade private server. It has superb scripting, a very true to the original Burning Crusade experience, and a healthy and thriving population so far. Of course, it remains to be seen as they still have a long way to go. Whether the population will hold up or the raids will have the same quality of scripting, we will have to see. But if they keep this up, then no doubt, in my opinion, Atlantiss Karazhan would be the best Burning Crusade private server out there, and even, maybe, one of the best World of Warcraft private servers. If you're interested in playing, I'll leave a link to my video on how to set up playing on private servers. It's absolutely free. If you're looking for other expansions for private servers to play on, check out my other video where I show you the best private servers for every expansion. That'll be all for me. I will see you all later.